broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Citizens are advised to take the following steps. If exposed, remove probe. The emergency broadcast system.
Podcast for the curious mind. I don't know what that means.
Broadcasting live for a second time on a German-made microphone deep within the multifamily bunker. I am Corey here with co-host Tia. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother? How is everyone?
Hey, you know what? We got a very special guest this afternoon, and she's going to be talking to us about meditation and her life course. Now, I want to say it, but I don't know how to say it. I think it's Vipassana. And I'm sure I just slaughtered it, but she can't be here yet to make fun of me for it. Not until we do the ad. So, Break Fix Pros. Is your computer acting like your New Year's resolution? Broken? Then call Break Fix Professional. Break Fix Professionals will scan and clean your system for free. That's right, free. And no credit card is required. But that's not all. They are your go-to source for all your misfit PC needs. Windows or Apple, well, it doesn't matter. To Break Fix Professionals, call now at 605-951-9898 or learn more at breakfixpros.com. Break Fix Professionals. If you can't fix your New Year's resolution, at least fix your PC. I got to get that fixed. I had 2 hours to fix that, but I haven't fixed it yet.
It's okay.
All right. With no further ado, we have Anu. I rhymed that on purpose. So hope you appreciate the effort that went there. How are you doing today, Anu? Oh, she's muted. You muted yourself. Let me see. Yes. She's been muted. We already muted her.
I'm trying to unmute. Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks so much for coming on the show today. Did I completely slaughter it? Did I completely slaughter Vipassana?
Okay, we're still here.
Can you hear me?
Not completely. You did a pretty decent job, I'd say.
Thank you. So I did slaughter it, is what she's trying to say. That's all right.
She's humble.
Not completely. It's not how it's said. What? Okay, so we'll start here at the very beginning. I know nothing about meditation whatsoever. I know Tia has some experience with it.
Just very little.
Yeah, and I saw your bio on Podcast Guest, and I was fascinated by it because you've been through quite the succession of events, and it seems like this has played a huge role in your life. So, first of all, how about you explain to us what this is and how to pronounce it? We'll start off with that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question. I feel it's a good place to start from. So the word is pronounced, well, all my Western friends and I have pronounced it now as Vipassana. And the word itself originates from a 2,500-year-old language called as Pali. And this was a language from the time of Buddha and all his discourses and teachings at the time were recorded in Pali by his fellow monks or disciples, not him per se, but people who heard him.
Okay.
And in Pali, the word is pronounced way differently than it is in English. In Pali, it's pronounced as Vipassana. And when we break it down, it is Vipassana. So these two words separately, individually mean, V means special, and Passana means observation or seeing. And special observation, that's the broken down meaning of the word. And to explain in detail, it denotes that observing yourself in a special way that you understand not only yourself, but everything that's happening within you.
Okay.
And
Right.
that's the gist of Vipassana or Vipassana.
Vipassana. So,
Vipassana.
I was raised in a Christian culture, and the church I was raised in was very. I remember there being talks given about how meditation was wrong, was almost of the devil, the clearing of the mind to allow for. Um, how it was explained to me growing up was, you clear your mind, and that just allows the devil in. And it was, same thing with yoga. It was not allowed. And meditation was sort of on the same level as that. But what is meditation? Like, I think a lot of people, especially here where I grew up, they think it's, the fingers closed and the om, but I don't assume that's what this is.
No, you're right. So I'll start first with the association of religion with meditation, and then talking about what Vipassana is. So religion and meditation are two different things, and they do not necessarily have to be one thing in general. And a lot of religions do have a belief that, a very hardcore belief in their own teachings, and everything that's from outside is foreign and not accepted as easily. And I am a Christian, and I do believe in Jesus, and there have been many instances in my lifetime when that belief has strengthened over time, and that's where I have sought a lot of courage and power. And even in Vipassana, the main propagator, his name is Goenka, he talks about Jesus a lot, and in a way, explaining that when we follow someone, more than following their teachings, embodying their qualities is more important. So if a person calls themselves religious, very religious, it could be Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, but then they live a very, very violent life, hurting people, being angry, killing for a living, and just different things. So that doesn't embody the people that they are praying for or they have faith in. So to come back, I do know that religions do have their own beliefs about meditation. And me being a Christian, it was kind of difficult in the beginning. How do I balance both of my sides? But I feel like I and my friends, who most of them are Christian, so we have kind of found an integrated balance between our beliefs and faith and also a practice. And in the end, when we look at things together, it's a way of living a very wholesome life. And that's what all these teachings are for people to live a wholesome, good life. And if anything is helping you get on that path, that's what it is about, to help you live a good life. And in Vipassana, the greatest thing about Vipassana, I feel, is it's non-sectarian. So it has no affiliation to any religion whatsoever in the world. It does take the teaching from Buddha. However, it does not tell people to convert to the religion of Buddhism and be a certain way so that they can be more accepted in the practice. And to matter of fact, if I really should go back to what Buddha taught, I'd really want to tell here is that Buddha never said that he's God. He never told people that they should worship him. He has always said that he is an human as much as we all are, and if we practice what he has told to practice, that is to meditate, and the proper way of meditation, everyone has a opportunity and a path to be where he was and he became. So it's not his monopoly that only he can be what he was. If we all practice meditation and whatever his teachings were, we all can get there. Yes, it's going to be a long journey, but it's possible. And even just knowing that it's possible, it's a great sense of relief, because there is a way out of this miserable life that people are living, suffering all the time. I want more
Yeah.
money. I want a bigger house. I want this. Just wanting all the time. Like, what's the point of this? So even having a small chance of getting out of this is a big relief, and I am glad that I learned Vipassana since childhood. And I grew up in a Vipassana, there's a word in Vipassana called as Dhamma, Dhamma, that I grew up in a Dhamma household where a lot of teachings were around this. And it showed me a great difference growing up in the way I handle things and in the way people around me handle things. So it really helps you grow as a person, because you don't see just the sufferings in front of you. You start seeing the bigger picture. Okay, so what's the purpose of this? Where am I supposed to go from here? What am I supposed to learn here? And just being in the moment. And that's a big freedom.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is more of like a way of life than it is a certain action you set aside for a certain day type of thing. Is that right? Or is there
Yes.
action involved with it too?
No, you're absolutely right, Corey. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle.
So when you were being raised with this mentality of Vipassana meditation, when was like your first experience where you weren't surrounded by people who practice this?
Many, especially in school, during exam time. So the education culture where I grew up is very harsh, very strict. A lot is expected from children, and there's no way you can get out of it. You have to do it. And so for me, every time during exam time, what my mom would do is have I and my sister sit together, meditate before we start studying. That just helped us, kind of ground and be more in the moment and be able to absorb what we are going to read. And that helped big time, which I did not realize at the time. I was like, okay, it's meditating. So what hurts if I'm just going to spend 5 minutes meditating before I'm going to study? But it did show up eventually, as I grew up, how I handled the examination stress. And so a lot of times there would be students around me, my classmates and students from other classes, who are just like panicking, crying, like, oh my gosh, I don't know. This is just too stressful. I'm not prepared for this exam. And then
Right.
there's me sitting, chilling, like just observing people. Like, wow. I mean, I wouldn't say like I would show that I am too confident, or I wouldn't even feel that I am confident, but I would have that sense of security inside me about my exam, that I think I'm gonna be okay. I might not know everything on the exam, but overall I'll be okay. I wouldn't flunk it. I might not even top it, but I'd be fine. And for me, that reassurance was a great asset to have in my heart, because that helped me through high school, then through my dental school, which was very tough. My dental school was one of the most brutal, cruelest, harshest time of my life. And I surviving that by myself was only possible because of Vipassana. And if I didn't have it, I would have come up as a very different person. And and even in dental school, I could see, and it's a very competitive, stressful environment, because okay, I'm studying, I'm also treating my patients. I have to show my teachers that I can perform a certain procedure very well. I have to be on top of everything, because every mistake I make is a representation that I'm not I'm not ready to handle a patient outside in the world just by myself. So I had to be very, very cautious. And there's no one who can save you, only you can save yourself. And in dental school, that taught me that lesson very well. And then everyone around me is panicking, and their patients seeing them like, oh my gosh, my doctor is panicking. And they would lose the trust in my classmates who had different patients. And then me, I'm sitting with my patients and having a chat about their life or just about anything, and just trying to keep them calm, staying calm despite the pressure, and just knowing that, okay, I won't do really, really good, but I'll be okay. I know I'm going to be fine. And that reassurance is a big deal to have in a person, because life is not easy at all at any point. And being comfortable with difficult situations, being with yourself, is a great asset. And Vipassana helps you learn that or
And
develop that.
when you said that your mom would sit you guys down before you would go to school or have a test to meditate, like what's the process, I guess, behind that?
What do you mean process? Like
Well,
how did she teach us meditation?
yeah.
So Vipassana itself has two different levels. I wouldn't say levels, but the first is you gotta strengthen your mind enough to actually practice Vipassana. So for children or whoever's younger, anybody less than 18 years of age, they have a practice called as Anapana. That means you first start working on your breath. So it's basically breath work. It looks very simple, but it's very difficult, and also it's very potent. So like it changes you. Even just practicing the breath work changes you on so many different dimensions. And so that's what we would do every time before my exam, or even before um, receiving a paper from teacher. So I'm sitting in an exam hall, I'm waiting for my paper teacher to give me the paper, so I'm just waiting, and my breath work's constantly going on. So that helps in grounding. And so she would do it every time before studying for exam, going to exam, or also the night before the exam or a big event, just sit and meditate and just do the breath work. This is before I actually did Vipassana. I did learn Vipassana when I was 15, which is a great thing, I feel, to have learned that at such a young age. Yes, I didn't understand a great deal of it because I was a teenager. I was a very little person, and Vipassana is a very profound practice. So it's not possible to grasp everything in just one course or in just one sit. But however, I did a pretty decent job, because I would feel sometimes that when things got very stressful and serious, I would feel in my mind like, you ought to sit and meditate. This is getting too much. Just sit and meditate. This is you shouldn't deal with anything outside anymore. Just go and sit. And so that's what she taught us, and that became a habit in I and my sister both. So now I'm on a different level of my practice, but I could see where I come from, where I knew that, okay, if this is happening, I have to be mindful and go within, not outside.
Obviously, it was important to her to start teaching you the basic building blocks when you were young. Now, was this like something that was passed on through your family, or when did this become a practice for
Is
you
this
guys?
just commonplace in your culture, or just your mother specifically?
This is not commonplace in any culture. And I was very fortunate. I am very fortunate that this was passed on from my grandfather, my mom's father on my mom's side. He did his first Vipassana course in sometime in 1980s, and soon after my mom did. And then she couldn't keep up the practice, because then she got married, had me, my sister, and then we were children, so her practice didn't stay in place. But still, she would be more engaged, sitting every day at home. And also she taught us, which was a big deal. My grandparents were teachers, Vipassana assistant teachers, when they were alive, and that's what they did. until they died, literally. And my grandmother died first, so she was in a course, I think 2 months before she fell really, really sick and she couldn't travel anymore. And then she passed away. And even with my grandfather, he taught courses or conducted courses a month before he died, which is a very big deal. And he was not, he was a very strong person, and he was not sick in any way. And so meditatively, he was very advanced. And so in a way, I feel he kind of knew that it's his time and he got to slow down a little bit. And so that's why he took his last course, and then he came back home and he just stayed home. And slowly he kind of deteriorated. His health started going down, and then he knew one day, like, okay, it's time. My parents are teachers now. My mom's a bohemian, big time. She's always on the go. She's going all over the place in Middle East. She's taken courses in Dubai, all over India, and it's a great vocation, I feel, or more than a vocation, it's a calling. It's a great purpose, because everybody lives to make money, retire one day, be comfortable in their old age. She never worked, but the work she's doing now has a lot more virtue than any worker who would have worked all their life and retired a millionaire. Money, no amount of money is going to ever be equivalent to the virtue that my parents and my grandparents have earned through their work, following the purpose and serving Vipassana and Dhamma.
Now, I was going through your bio on the directory for podcast guests, and it said that the two biggest defining moments of your life, the first one was when you moved to the U.S. How old were you when you came to the U.S.?
23.
And where are you from originally?
India.
So that had to have been a bit of a culture shock for you. What stood out to you the most when you first came out here that you just did not expect to have to deal with? I know these hard-hitting questions.
I'm trying to think, where do I start?
She has a list.
Yes.
Start from the top. That's
The first McDonald's.
Coming to the US was not a culture shock. I felt that I have come home.
Okay.
Why? Why did you feel that?
Yeah, so the reason is, so I have to go back to my reference to Vipassana and what my belief with that and how I had grown up. So I didn't ever feel comfortable growing up in India, unfortunately. I always felt like a fish out of water. And in a way that people didn't understand when I was really talking. Like, people still don't understand when I start talking, like, oh my God, what are you talking about? And I was at work the other day, and I was telling a couple of my coworkers and people who were around me, and I was talking about my practice, and they were like, why do you work so hard? And then, why don't you?
Right.
And if what I do is you think is hard work, then you have not seen me working hard. And what I'm doing today is I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's not work, it's fulfillment. And if you think this is hard work, you've got it all wrong, or maybe you've got yourself wrong. So for me, past life, I've realized during my meditative practice and also through internal realizations that I believe in past lives. I know it's not the mainstream and also not following with the teachings of being a Christian and what everybody else has faith in. And this is where I said, like, I and my friends, we integrate our practice and religion together in a very unique way. That yes, we know we are not supposed to, but we also know that this lifestyle is a part of our being. And how do we differentiate ourselves if we don't accept and be aware of this side of us. So for me, yes, past life exists, and I must have been an American or a Chinese in my past lives. And that's one of the reasons why I never fit in my own culture, even though I was born there. And I did not grow up with a lot of privileges or even with good schooling. However, I am able to speak fluently, that I can make friends easily who are not even from my own country or different countries, and especially Americans. So I don't have a lot of Indian friends, to be very honest. All my Indian friends are from India, and in the US, I hardly have one or two Indian friends, or all my friends are all Americans or from different countries, not just here. So I'm very co-cultural, and that's why I felt when I came here that I felt I was at home. And the thing that very much stood out for me was how supportive, nice, and helpful people were, or people are here. And they go out of the way to help you out, listen to you, and love. I've never experienced that, not in my country. I'm not saying that not like everybody has the same experience as I did.
Right,
Everybody
right.
has different experiences, but for me it was just a little different. And I didn't feel that I could integrate very well, and I was also a big rebel growing up because I don't like rules, I don't like restrictions, and I am a very independent person. So in my culture, a girl being independent and knowing what she wants is just not very well celebrated, or was not when I came, because it was a long time ago. It was almost
It's
80
not the
years
norm.
ago.
Yeah.
No, it's not a norm. And now it might be different. I don't know. I haven't lived there. So it may or may not be the same. But at the time, it was very difficult. Even when I was planning, like, was preparing to come here, people didn't want me coming here alone because they thought it's not it's not appropriate for a young girl to just move out of her parents' house to a new country all by herself. I'm like, why? They're like, no, it's just not good because there are going to be questions like, what is she doing there alone? I'm like, hello, I'm going to study. I'm not going to go and sleep with people. I have a purpose. And if they are thinking wrong about it, they are on the wrong place, or they
That's
are
their
on the
perspective.
exactly, they are on the wrong side, because I know what I want. And if it doesn't resonate with them, then it's not my problem, it's their
Right.
problem, because they are not living my life, and I got to live my life. And I got to be I got to live in a way that I don't have a regret, or I say a couple of years down the line, like, hey, I should have done that. That was
Yeah.
that I didn't do it. I don't want to have that regret. Even if I fail, I don't care. At least I would have tried it.
Yeah, you followed seemed like your purpose and dream. So if they're mad about that, I mean, I don't know. It's
Well, that's part of the and excuse me if I'm wrong, but that's part of your study in Vipassana. I'm going to slaughter it every time I say it.
Sure,
But,
absolutely.
but I mean,
be
that's part of
positive.
it, right? Is that meditation is to keep your focus on the goals that you have.
Good question. Can you say that one more time so that I can integrate my answer together?
When you moved here and you obviously had a focus on what you wanted to accomplish, do you think the meditation is a part of that process to keep you focused on your goals?
Good question. Yes. Meditation certainly helps me stay focused and stay on the path of my goals in the right way. So, with the right intention, right practice, putting the right effort, and but also it helps me maintain a non-attachment. So, suppose I fail, or I'm not able to pursue what I set to pursue in the first place, and I can't continue for whatever reason, I'm not able to continue thereafter. So it helps me stay unattached, that yes, okay, it's not going to work out. I have come here up until here. I'm grateful for the experience. And since it's not possible because of whatever reason or factors beyond my control, I let go. So it helps in coming to a point where I'm comfortable letting go, having given my best efforts, and I can continue thereafter. So it's been a big relief and also a big support to me that I have this understanding that if whatever I set to do is not possible or is not going anywhere, I let go. Because keep staying attached, trying to make it happen, is just gonna keep cause suffering to everybody around me and a lot of anxiety, stress, and there's no point in perpetuating that. So just let go. It's easy. And I have also become a big believer that when you let go of things, the right things come your way.
Close one door, another one opens.
Exactly. And so sometimes you need to be in position to know when's the time to let go and when it's not. That could be an opportunity, that could be a person, a relationship, a material gain, or a big or maybe a job, an education, anything. And it's one of the most difficult lessons, but also one of the most liberating um, learning or a lesson that you're going to be practicing if you do end up doing that.
Now, like people who are interested in this and want to bring this into their lives to bring them sort of that peace of mind you're talking about. I mean, how do they come to terms with the things that have kept their lives unbalanced? Do they need to clear them of that first before they start practicing, or is that part of the process of learning meditation? I'm too scared to say it now, so I'm just saying meditation.
No, you can start wherever you are. If you want to start meditation, and a lot of people do ask, like, do I have to convert to a religion, or do I have to be a certain way before I can start this? No, you just come. And no one's perfect, and we are never going to get our lives perfect. It is what it is. So either we start today, or we do it, or we start never, because it's never going to be perfect. So we start imperfect and then slowly start to understand ourselves more, and then get to a point where we are comfortable with our failures, stresses, peace, happiness, everything around us.
I mean, you had to have seen, I mean, I know you said when you came to the US, you felt very comfortable with the transition, but I mean, you must have seen a lot of different, well, obviously, capitalism at its finest is expressed here where it's a constant chase for something else. And it seems like Vipassana
Good.
is,
Good.
I'm going to keep trying.
Vipassana, yes.
That's Rastafarian.
You got this, man. You got this.
That's Bob Marley's version of it. I mean, like, it almost seems like counterproductive to capitalism. Like, don't worry about chasing after those types of things. Or am I wrong in assuming that?
Mm-hmm. Capitalism is perpetuated out of people's suffering. And it is perpetuated to magnify the suffering. And it is perpetuated by the people who are suffering themselves. So there's suffering all around it.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's almost sort of a exact opposite of being at peace with yourself and being at peace with your
being happy with what you have.
Yeah, being happy with what you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now go ahead.
And so there might be a question, of course, to somebody who doesn't meditate, is that Oh, so when I start meditating, would I not have any needs? Because isn't that a perpetuation of what capitalism does? Like, you have so many needs, you need to have everything.
Right. You should just be content sitting on a dirt floor with no roof.
Yeah. No, so that's not the purpose of meditation. Meditation teaches you, or it makes you more aware of yourself, your needs, in a very balanced way. So you know what you need, but you would also know that what you not need and what's the quantity or the magnitude of your need. So it makes you very balanced in your lifestyle overall. So whether it's in your activities, in your thoughts, and how you show up in the world, but also in within you, in your needs and how you fulfill them.
Did your family move over here with you, or did you come on your own?
I came by myself.
Oh man, that must have been interesting to. I
It
mean,
was very interesting.
especially having siblings and everything. Did they eventually move over, or
Yes, yeah, they also did.
oh, nice.
You
Brought them
brought
on
them
over.
over.
Like,
Yes.
come on over.
Nice, nice.
Well, now you mentioned the Dhamma family, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that. What is this Dhamma family that you were born into?
So Dhamma is a word that's a Pali word, and in Hindi it's called as Dharma, which is also very commonly used in Western cultures as well. And
What's
so Dhamma
the
itself means the Buddhist teachings, the teachings of Buddha. So in newer Indian languages, Dharma means religion.
oh, okay.
But
Okay.
when it originated thousands and thousands of years ago, it meant teachings, not the religion. It meant teachings. So its parallel pronunciation in Pali is Dhamma. And so Dhamma meant teachings of Buddha. And that encompassed everything together. So it was the teaching of what suffering and dissatisfaction, or Buddha called it dukkha. And then teachings around that. Also, what's the truth? So the noble truth as in Four Noble Truths. So what's the suffering? What is the cause of suffering? What is the solution to suffering? And what's the path towards the solution of suffering? And how do we practice all that? And then the practice, yes, it includes meditation as well, but it also includes something called as Eightfold Noble Path. It means it's a eight it's a path that follows 8 right activities, or how to set right intentions. So it's, let me tell it for your audience. Noble path.
Would the 8 paths have anything to do with the chakras? Because I know there's like 8 chakras, right? No.
Yes, they are completely independent of chakras.
Okay.
Chakras is a different belief. So Eightfold Path are, all right, here it is. It's right view, right resolution, right speech, right conduct,
Okay.
right
Okay.
livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right samadhi, or the meditative state or state of awareness. So one example I want to give is about right livelihood. So right livelihood is where you or your work or your employer directly are not perpetuating violence, hatred, animosity, anger, and in general, and also intoxication. So like we're working for ammunitions, and also for maybe a liquor store or a shop, a wine shop. So all these things are against the right livelihood, and hence they do not comply with the the lifestyle. So what happens eventually is, like I said, in growing up in Dhamma family, I grew up seeing all the things in the right way, right livelihood, right actions, right speech. And so growing up in such a family that follows the teachings, not, I'm not saying the religion, okay, the teachings so very dedicatedly, and having seen those, it's a great way of raising a child that sees the world so clearly that they know the difference from right and what's not right. And I'm not saying wrong here, because everyone has their own belief, and so it could or could not be wrong, but what's right is always going to be right. And people try to, a lot of my friends, they try to inveigle their own understandings in there, in a way to, yeah, I can do it. So I want to tell a story of one of my friends who wanted to raise chickens um, to sell chicken meat. And it means, yes, you're raising a chicken to kill them and sell their meat. And that doesn't comply with the right livelihood, because you're hurting a living being. You're killing them in order to earn money. And that is very bad. And so I tried telling them, this is not the right livelihood. And they were apparently, they called themselves a staunch believer of Buddha and called themselves very hardcore Buddhists. And they wanted to do this. And I don't know if they'll ever do it in their lifetimes or not. But this is the conversation I had with them. And the first time they told me, I was very shocked. I'm like, nope, I cannot be associated with you if you do this. This is totally against what I have been raised with and what I believe. So you decide what you want to do. And then they go like, oh, why are you so against it? It's a good money. I'm going to be making a lot of money, and I have a lot of land that I can use for this. I'm like, sure, you'll make good money, but that's not going to do you any good, because you're killing innocent living beings for your profit. And that's not a good way of making money. You want to make money, make in a good way. Open up a company, employ a bunch of people, put them to work, make a lot of money, but you don't have to kill people to make money. And then they go like, but I'm not going to be working in the farm to raise chickens, I'll employ people. And then I go like, but who's going to pay those people? You are the employer. You are the one who's perpetuating suffering to chickens, and you're going to employ people to do that on your behalf while you pay them to kill your chicken.
So it contradicts the eightfolds.
Yep.
And I'm just speaking out of ignorance, but like, do you feel like the argument could have been made that, well, I'm supplying nutrients to people who need it, therefore I am living in I forget the term, in a way of honorable
Dhamma.
livelihood?
Yeah, or right livelihood.
Right livelihood, yes.
No, because the way you are, it's not about what is the end goal of your purpose. It's about what is happening when you're doing it. You're killing chickens, you're hurting them. So not chickens, but in general, a living being. So
Right.
anything that causes violence is deviating away from the right teachings or the right way of living. And
So,
the same thing.
oh, sorry. I was just curious. So, like, how does that work with like your food choice? Is that strictly a vegan type
Vegetarian?
diet? I'm worried about this, obviously. So,
Yeah, I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
if it's, I gotta slaughter my own cow, then I will do that. But I don't. Like,
So what happens is, when you start practicing any type of meditation and you reach a stage that you become incapable of hurting another person or a living being, or even supporting anything that facilitates that. So I quit eating meat. The first time I did that was in 2013.
Oh, wow.
And that was 10 years ago. I was pretty decent. Then I moved to the US. I didn't have a good company, so I wasn't very diligent about it for a couple of years, I think 2 years or so. But then it became very strong in me that, yeah, I didn't feel good, because when you start eating meat and you're still being very equanimous and sensitive as you meditate, your body can't handle. If your food is not very well sourced in the right way, your body is going to tell you don't even have to make that choice. Your body becomes that.
I feel that way every time I go to McDonald's. So I guess, I mean, couldn't the argument be made then for plants as well? Like, you're harming nature by.
It could be, but I don't
Some
know. I
people-
haven't gone that far to have information to support or deny that argument yet.
But it's
Right.
it's an individual process, right? Too, like,
It
I
is, yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's what your body is comfortable with processing, and you're just trying to amplify it by what you put into it.
Yep. I couldn't eat meat. I left. So I quit eating meat when I was eating the most delicious chicken tandoori 5.5 years ago. I was eating
She
that.
remembers how good it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that is-
remember it because I was the one who ordered it, and so we all are in the middle of eating it, and then I had a bite, and then I had a few more bites, but then I didn't feel good because the only feeling I had was I got to puke. I'm done. And then I told my friends that, I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm not going to be able to finish this chicken. You're welcome to have it. Rest of my food is. And I went on and I ate soup. I left chicken tandoori and I settled down on soup. And that was a good feeling. And I was like, okay, there's something going on underneath that I don't understand, but okay, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to respect it.
I'll eat all the chicken tandoori for you.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes,
worry.
please.
Oh.
Way to not live right. Right livelihood.
I'm too Samoan to not eat meat. I'm sorry.
So that's another thing. Since I follow this, I don't impose this on others.
Right, right.
And this is what my choice is. And I also know everybody has their own path or their lessons to learn to get where they're supposed to be, and it's going to be drastically different than what I have lived in the past. So yes, what your choices are, your preferences are, I respect them, and no imposition on my end for anybody else to follow that, hey, I say this, so I'm right, so you should follow this. No, you do you, I do I. We are all together.
It's mostly about focusing on your inner self and making you the best version that you can be, is what my take of what you're telling me is that's sort of what you want to be focusing on, and not projecting it to other people. How did that work when growing up in a Dhamma family, surrounded by a Dhamma community, and then because I feel like sometimes, like, there are similarities between the teachings of Christianity as far as when it goes to Jesus, and his teachings, right? That's the term, teacher, and Buddha and what he taught. Like, was there any conflict for you there, or did it feel very natural?
It felt very natural because of the second incident that brought the life change. Remember, the first one I said was moving to the US, but the second one was far greater and more greater in magnitude for me to learn and also be the person I did not know I was because of my meditation. And that was the moment I realized. So I really want to share this here with you, and of course with your audience as well, that so someone tried to kill me a couple of years ago, and they're strangulating me. And so they're sitting on me, they're sitting on my chest over here, and they're strangulating me, and my head's all the way on the edge of the couch, and they're speaking obscenities like, I hate you so much, you're the worst person ever, and they're literally getting there. And there could have been so many other emotions in my mind, fear, anger, hatred towards the person who's doing that. But the only thing that came in my mind was kindness and love, and of feeling sorry for them, that they have everything in the world, everything, but still that person chooses to strangulate the person who they claim to love the most, and also who they were supposed to cherish for a long time. But then this is what they do.
Right.
And for me, my thinking came from my mind went straight to being how Jesus was crucified. And at that time, all he had nothing but kindness and love for the people who were causing him that suffering in the moment. So much suffering. And that's what I kept thinking, like, okay, this person's ignorant. They have no idea what they are doing in the moment. And I really hope they don't have to suffer for their sins. And at least I'm trying to not multiply that situation in a way by reacting to it, but just trying to be more equanimous. And thankfully, they did not end up strangulating me or being successful in that strangulation. And I'm here. But that was a second life-changing moment of my life. From that, having survived it, it just changed an entire outlook on life. And for me as well, that yes, life's difficult. It's not easy. Everybody's got suffering. Everyone's suffering. We have got things we got to deal with in order to live life. And it showed me where I was in my own practice. So when a person starts meditating, we want to see the results right away. Like, hey, I want to see the way I have changed. I don't know. And so we want to see results right away. But the thing is, you don't see results in the real time. You see results as you keep living your life, and you're going to see that instead of reacting to your life and situations, you equanimously start understanding them. And life
being
becomes
consistent.
life becomes very slower, and that not everything needs your energy, and even if it does need your energy, how much you need to give it. And you start putting that boundary around you to respect yourself more.
Right.
And so that's what it was like. Okay, you try to kill me, thank you. And I still don't hate them. I am very grateful to that person, very much. Like, I'm so grateful. I'm going to send them gifts like every Christmas, Thanksgiving, like, thank you for trying to kill me.
I kind of understand that, because through all my failures in life, it's taught me, everything I needed to know about myself, or about what was right or not right for my life. So I do understand that. I'm not sure if I'd send gifts, but I respect that for sure. I definitely respect your resolve. So obviously your teachings have given you the strength to do what most people won't. So I definitely give it to you for that.
Well, and people experience karma based off of their actions too. I suppose the difficult part is not wanting to watch that karma unfold on them because of what they've done.
Thank you for bringing karma. I was trying to bring it, but then I was like, okay, I don't know how do I bring it in the conversation.
I got it tattooed. Tattooed in Sanskrit. I gotta figure this out.
I can't see it.
Oh, let me.
It's too far away. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So yes, karma is pretty big deal. I know a lot of people, like my perpetrator, he did not believe in karma. For them, karma doesn't exist. For them, I was the bad person. I was just
Right.
the most worst person. Then I just deserved being dying, and they wanted to kill me because they hated me. And it's my karma. I'm sure it must have been karma from somewhere that I was enduring in the moment. And the only thing I've kept thinking, like, okay, I don't want this karma again ever in my lifetime. Nope, I'm not gonna react to it. Even at the time I was thinking it, even if I die today, I don't want to react. I don't want to. I just want to be here in this moment and be very mindful of everything that's happening within me, not on what this person's doing to me, or not on what I'm feeling because of what that person's doing to me, but what's going on inside me. And that was a big help for me to endure it and get out of it in a way that it's not causing more karma. Because if I hate it, or if I'm angry at the person, if I have fear, then it's me causing more karma that relates to fear, anger, hatred. So my only goal was, I want to turn it around and instead cause more love, kindness, and compassion.
You don't want, I mean, it's not a doormat type of philosophy where you just take
No, it's
everything
not.
that's
Right.
Yes, it's not. So when that happened, it made me realize that, okay, I'm alive. It's a big privilege. I got to get out of that. And I got to get out of the situation that puts me at risk. And I want to cherish myself so that I'm able to have this body so that I can do what I'm supposed to do. I wasn't created to be killed by somebody just because they are angry.
Right.
And that awakening was a big deal because no one around me or in my family or even in my friends has endured it. And it was a big deal for me because I don't have any guidance on it. How do I navigate such a situation? How? I don't know. And so this is what came in my mind. I was like, okay, I got to get away from here. I got to respect myself. I got to cherish myself because I want to do what I want to do. And that is live the right life. It might not be right for everybody else, but it makes sense to me. I'm happy. I'm not hurting anyone, not causing more karma. I'm good. And that's all I want.
well, I'm a firm believer in karma that you definitely, I guess it sort of falls in line with other belief systems. I was going to say you reap what you sow. That's a manifestation, I think, of karma. As your actions inevitably lead to you experiencing what you've dealt to other people, and you have to deal with those consequences at some point. And I feel like that's sort of the same principle with karma too. Is you do bad, you receive bad as well.
Mhm.
When when you had the situation that happened a few years ago, and you said it changed your trajectory a little bit. What was I guess the biggest thing that came from that experience of almost dying to where you're at now?
Not taking life too seriously.
Okay.
That was the biggest lesson because I would take things very seriously and be way attached to the outcome or what I'm doing, and just trying to make things happen, not letting things just be. And since we
Not
are
setting expectations.
yeah, and I think we are raised in a way, or we are in a culture overall, that being complacent or being idle is thought to be being a loser, not having any motivation, and also future goals. But I learned that we can still have future goals, but gotta be more adaptable based on what we are in the moment.
When you, I mean, because you've been practicing Vipassana meditation. I think that was better.
Yeah.
Um, uh, before this event happened to you, um, did you question whether that, what what you had been taught, if it had led up to that experience, or is it more to sort of give you a chance to deconstruct how to prevent that situation from, I mean, not that you can prevent people from choking you out to almost death, but obviously, like it didn't prevent it. And, if people are looking at this as sort of a cure-all for all their problems, that's really not the purpose of it.
This is not a panacea. However, this is a way of strengthening yourself to survive and live a life the right way with the strength that you were given when you were born here. So for me, I did not realize that before. I had not even thought that someone might try and kill me. I, and for me, it was like, this is not just what people do. Like around me, people, no one got murdered or even tried to get murdered by someone else. So that was my belief. But when it happened to me, and it was supposed to happen to me very importantly, because I did not believe that it will happen to me, and then or that I deserved it. No one deserves it, but even um, being aware that something can happen to them like this, it's a big realization. And I never thought it's going to happen to me ever. Like, I'm like, I don't even kill a fly. When I'm walking on outside, I try not to step on a bug or even an ant. Like when I'm being so diligent, my assumption was I'm not causing any bad karma, or I'm causing only good karma, or I'm perpetuating good karma. But that's not the case. You don't know what your past karma is. So even if you're not doing anything in the moment, your past karma is still following like a shadow. And so it's still there. So the moment you realize the difference between karma, good karma and bad karma, and you make a resolution that, okay, from today onwards, whatever my actions are gonna only cause good karma. I'm only gonna be the good karmic person. And that's the moment all your bad karma starts coming up, because it's gonna go somewhere, because it's still your karma. It's not just gonna be there dormant, underneath, hidden. No. So when that realization comes that my actions cause karma, and you set an intention that from here only right karma is going to go out of my body, or my body is only going to perpetuate good karma, that's when all your bad karma starts coming up. And then you got to endure it, or you got to go through it, so that you are able to, what's the word for it, you are able to process it out so that it doesn't exist anymore.
Anu, we kept you for an hour, so I appreciate so much for you coming on our show. Now, please tell me, you have your own podcast, and then if people want to research the subject more, where are some good tools that they can use or go to?
To learn more about Vipassana, and anyone who wants to learn the practice itself, they can go to the website. That's dhamma.org, dhamma.org. And they have for new students, there's 10-day courses. It's free of cost. You live there for 10 days. They offer food, accommodation, and they teach you how to actually practice this meditation. And it's a great way of living life. And I very much hope the two of you and your audience gets to experience it. at least once.
And your podcast name?
And my podcast name, I used to run a podcast. It's not active anymore. My podcast name is Sprouting Wings with Anu, and I talk a lot about my journey to moving to the US, my friends. Some of my friends are also from Vipassana meditation, so we talk about our own journeys in our countries, how it was growing up for me in India and for them here in the US. So there's a lot of material, different type of material on my podcast.
And you said Dhamma.org, correct?
Yes,
Right.
Dhamma.org.
Where's the where is that held at? Like where is it at?
So there are a lot of Vipassana centers, meditation centers. So there's 3 centers in California. There's the oldest center is in Massachusetts, in Shelburne Falls. It's 2 hours from Boston. And another center is in Washington State. It's on Alaska. I don't know how far it's from Seattle. There's another big center in Texas, Idaho, Illinois, Georgia, Delaware.
Wow, it's all over. Okay,
It's all over in the US. And there are some centers there's centers in every country. Canada also has a lot of centers. If you want to explore Canada, there's all over, and all the centers are very beautiful.
really set the mindset for it.
Yes, and they're all far away from the city, so it's so peaceful that every time I'm at a center, I'm like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
I was going to say the one right next to Boston, you got to go to several times to get.
Oh yeah, that center changed my life completely.
Well, if anyone, I'd be interested in checking that out. But if anyone is interested in looking up, I assume the sites are on Dhamma.org as well.
Yes, you can check the centers over there. You got to filter out the information, but you can find everything on that website.
Anu, thanks so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Have a good rest of your day.
That
was Anu Charbe. Man, that was fascinating, Tia. I really enjoyed that. I felt stupid because I did not know anything about this, and I didn't really want to go in knowing anything, because I didn't want to have any.
Well, you're learning from an expert, so
I know. So much thanks to Anu for coming on the show. Next week, it's straight topicals. We're gonna mess up your chakra with some of the stories we got for you. So listen, I was all sold on it. I was all sold on it until she mentioned the chicken, and I was just, I get if you don't want to have beef, but I got to have some sort of meat. That's the Viking blood thing.
Something has to die for me to live,
to get joy.
Unfortunately,
I mean, yes. To live. Yeah, that's right.
I hear both sides. I just know my side.
Well, at least I don't know. It was interesting. We should
For sure.
Do a company trip to a center.
I would be down, to be honest. The 10 days, if they're providing everything, especially.
I know. I know.
Kind of
She
a
got me at
no-lose.
free.
Well, if it's free, you're the product. No, I'm kidding.
I'll be the product. I'm all right with that. I'll come strutting in there and be like, oh, damn.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Okay. All right. Next week, topicals, crazy stories. And once again, thanks to Anu. And check out.
Anu.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Peace out.